Knicks and LeBron James. How does it happen? What is a feasible trade? Because he opts into his $52.6 million player option at the start of free agency, and then we hear a really interesting statement from Rich Paul, his agent, that he knows that LeBron wants to compete for championships still at his age 41 season coming up, but that the Lakers, as they know, are looking towards the future. So a lot of uncertainty within what he was saying, some reading between the lines. Like, when I say the word New York Knicks, LeBron James, can you fathom how that would work, even if just without knowing the X's and O's of a trade proposal? Does that make any sense in the world? A place for him to play outside of Los Angeles?
It makes sense if the idea is to compete for a championship. This is a Knicks team that should have been in the finals, right? If you avoid the Game 1 collapse, you're in, I feel like. Because Game 7 against the Pacers would have been at Madison Square Garden. I think the Knicks win that. So from that perspective, it makes sense. But, what would they have to give up to get him in a trade? How many games can he play? But I'll tell you this. Let's say it happened. Let's say LeBron goes to New York. Let's say he wins a championship. It would end the Jordan-LeBron conversation because he would never be number one, I think, on any reasonable person's list if that's how he got his fifth championship. So he can do it, but the conversation about the GOAT would be over, in my opinion, if he took that route.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Why? Why would you why do you, just because he had to jump to so many teams to do it?
Yeah, this is cheating, right? If you tell me obviously what he did in Miami, young guy joining forces, fine. Won it validly in Cleveland, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving. And then, people say what they want about the bubble. Everyone was in the bubble, right? So you can't just knock the Lakers for winning the championship. But if at 41, he joins a Knicks team and they win a championship, I just don't give him the credit if that's the scenario that happens compared to Michael Jordan. And I don't want to do the Jordan-LeBron thing all day. But for me, the GOAT conversation would end. He would be ineligible on my list if that's the route he took to his fifth championship.
Okay, so that would potentially not be the storybook ending for LeBron James in Myron Metcalf's mind. Alan Hahn disagrees. He was on Get Up yesterday, the host of Don Hahn and Rosenberg on ESPN New York, and he laid out this scenario, the storybook ending for LeBron James to play for the New York Knicks.
So this could be a farewell tour. So put all that stuff together, and you have to think, where is the fastest, easiest path to the NBA Finals for LeBron James? It's the place he has avoided his entire career. That's right, everybody. It's right here in New York.
Oh, boy.
I want to see. I dare him. I double dog dare him. If you really, really believe in all the words you're saying right there, the one place that you know you could go, all you have to do is say it. Sing it if you want, like Sinatra. New York, New York. If he does that, that's a gigantic narrative that he loves. They all love that. They love being part of the story. And it's a place that you could say, if he comes here, there is a path to the NBA Finals. And let me remind everybody, this New York franchise, the Knicks, more than a half century since they won a championship. He has 4. He's not going to catch Michael Jordan with 6, right? But a lot of people think if you win one here, it's equal to 2. So just think about that. If you want the best story possible, because I'm all about the story, LeBron to New York is the best story.
Wow. Boy, there's a lot to unpack there. And I think what Alan Hahn, who was on Get Up, said that really intrigued me at first was basically, Myron, what you were pointing out, that this is the easiest path towards a championship. So some might not actually validate that in the overall LeBron versus Michael Jordan conversation, which is its own conversation in its own right. And we don't have to have that. But to make this work, because we've talked about other superstar players potentially going to the Knicks to upgrade this roster, which has already had a lot of upgrades. They just went out and signed Mike Brown as their head coach, and the expectation is, you're just in the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't make that move unless you expect to be in the NBA Finals competing for a real championship in year one under your new head coach. If you're doing this, if you're pairing him with Jalen Brunson, with Karl Anthony Towns, you're parting ways with some of your really pivotal role players, whether it's Mikal Bridges, whether it's Josh Hart, starters and guys on the bench as well. It's a bold swing. And if this is a franchise that's looking for its first championship in 50 years, which they are, and they've shown that doesn't matter how relevant your team is made under anybody, that if it's not a championship, it's not enough. I could certainly understand why they'd be one of the 29 other teams that would be interested in his services. I just can't figure out, is it a trade? Is it a buyout? Like, how does he actually get there?
Yeah. I mean, the details are the challenge, right? First off, LeBron has a no-trade clause, right? So there's just
He'd have to want to go there, sign off.
Yeah, there's a lot attached to it. But from a personnel standpoint, they would be competitive. I mean, the Eastern Conference has changed with Tyrese Halliburton's injury, with Damian Lillard going down, and the Bucks kind of reboot, even though Miles Turner is there now. Obviously, Jason Tatum being hurt. So right now, the team at the top is Cleveland, which hasn't proven anything. I don't think a lot of people believe in them. So the Eastern Conference feels wide open. So I could understand why the Knicks would say, yeah, bring on LeBron. And I think, to me, Courtney, LeBron can't give you 70-plus games at 41. But he can give you 50-plus and be ready for the playoffs. And Jalen Brunson is the kind of guy who could handle the load, really, as LeBron kind of did his load management and got ready for the playoffs. So from a personnel standpoint, I would understand why the Knicks would try to make something like that work if they had the opportunity.
It's interesting, the shift here, because, you talk about not playing 70 games. Certainly he wouldn't have to, I wouldn't think, given what the other pieces on this roster. But it's not like he has Tom Thibodeau as his head coach anymore. No more minutes police. And there's a major shift going on from Mike Brown, a Mike Brown coach team. Remember what happened with the Sacramento Kings 2023. They were the number one offense in the NBA, top 10 efficiency all time. There's going to be a lot more focused on ball movement in New York, on pushing the pace offensively. Maybe that's better for LeBron at this point of his career without worrying about some of the smaller details of actually making this happen. But I was just informed in my ear, Nuno, what is this out? I guess we're just launching out outlandish takes because it's the 4th of July and Myron and I can go rogue on the show. What did you just say in studio about if LeBron wins a championship in New York, he's better than Michael Jordan?
So, Myron, if it makes you feel any better, you're not the only snitch on this show. I mean, Pat. Yeah, so earlier this week, I said, when we were having this conversation, I said that if LeBron went to New York, won a title with him, that he would be better than Michael Jordan in a lot of people's eyes. Because I think that would be the...
No.
And Hans said it at the end of there, that some championships count more than others, right? That Cleveland title for him counts more than the Laker title, right? A Knicks title for LeBron would count more. You're the guy who brought... And LeBron would eat it up. He would love the fact that he could truly be the king of New York.
So I lived in New York, and one thing I can tell you about New York, New York thinks it's its own country, right? If it happens in New York, it really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So I think in New York, it would be gigantic, and people would view him as the greatest ever. There would be no conversation. The rest of the country, I think, would feel differently. This is not a Knicks team that needs LeBron to get to the finals. I think they proved that last year. They just got to be better and more consistent. They were right there. So for LeBron to join a team that is right there already, should have been in the finals a year ago, I just wouldn't give him any credit in that situation.